One of the main themes running through this work is the possibility of being activated by the world. We are so used to taking charge of ourselves and clarifying our ideas about what we should do and how we should do it. And I think our ancestors, our hunter-gatherer ancestors, were continually in a state where they were communing with the world and activated by the world. And you can look at that in terms of the tyrant and the hero. They're both connected to desire, but they're connected to desire in very different ways. It's desires, as I see them, are primarily motivated by fear. A fear prompts the need for control, the need to manipulate, the need to amass acquisitions or power, the need to be in charge, the need to dominate. And so a young person looking at the world saying, what do I want to really do? Under the sway of the tyrannic impulses, might say, I want to make $1 million, which is a very external value attached to status and the approval of others. And the heroic desire is something very different. When I was a teenager, I had a mentor, Jack Brundage, who was a theater director and a renowned playwright. And he kept popping this question at me. I'd say, the most important thing is to know what you really want. What do you really want? That's what you should sit with. What do you really want? And it didn't lead me, to, as you might guess, to say, I want to make $1 million. It led me to a place where I was able to open my field of possibilities to the wide world. And this ridiculous notion of going to Japan and buying a bicycle or going to England, buying a bicycle and heading off for Japan was one of the scariest and most alive possibilities I could come up with. So the heroic call to adventure, which is really how I felt that, not that I see myself as a hero in any way, but that sense of your intimacy with the present birthing in you an activation is really what the heroic journey, the heroic call to adventure is about. And it's a very different kind of desire from that activates the tyrant. I really think I love the etymology of desire, which is born of the stars. And there's something about those moments where I've stood under the canopy of night with the sky teeming with stars. And if the earth is the mother, is what sustains us, the stars are our source. I mean, every molecule that constitutes our bodies was forged in star matter. And I think there's a deep recognition, a communion even with that source as we take in a canopy of stars that in a very special way activates our desire. So what I'd like to do is talk you through a practice that hopefully opens you in a personal way to some of that. There's no need to strive in this. There's almost a passivity, the passivity of being receptive, the passivity of attunement that most deeply opens you to that possibility. So let's begin there. Let's begin just by allowing receptivity, to undo every barb, every obligation, every nagging anticipation that might be clouding your receptivity. And just for a moment, drop and see how open a state of receptivity might be available to you. And there's no getting it right. There's just receptivity. There's nothing to hold on to. There's nothing to reach for. And in that receptivity, allow yourself to receive the sensations of your breath. Just that, just to receive those sensations. And receive the sensations of your body fully at rest on the earth. And it is at rest on the earth. And can you feel that interface? Can you feel that embrace for yourself? And receive the presence of the room around you in this moment. And can you receive it as a living presence? Because it is alive. Allow your awareness to gently dilate beyond the room and to understand that the present is without a horizon. And in that dilation, you make enough space for the whole of the present. And you're just making room for it. You're not trying to pin it down or know it or understand it. You can never grasp it, but there's always the possibility of feeling it in its wholeness, in its aliveness. And then, as gently as you can, bring your awareness to the pelvic floor. And there is no right way to do that. There's no right outcome that results from that. Just allow your awareness to settle through the body. Bring it down, down, until you feel it land on the pelvic floor. And as it does, it begins to attune to the life that is there. And as your awareness rests on the pelvic floor, allow yourself to just gently sink into the pelvic floor as you might give yourself over to a really soft mattress. And in that descent, in that letting go, allow your awareness to open to the subtlest of stirrings, the subtlest of sensations coursing through it. And at the end of an out-breath, feel the pelvic floor gently let go. And you don't know where it's going, but it's carrying you as it lets go. It is releasing into the unknown without supervision. You're just letting it go and being carried. And similarly, at the end of the in-breath, the pelvic floor lets go again. It just releases. And that wave of release traverses the whole of your body like a tidal bore running through it. And as your body releases to each in-breath and releases to each out-breath, it releases more and more into its natural fluidity. And in that transparent fluidity, you begin to feel all the spaciousness within you. And just scan that spaciousness for a moment. And notice within the body any little thickening of the spaciousness, any subtle clenching that might be there, any slightly stuck energy, any shadow. And allow your awareness to be subtle enough to feel wherever that might be happening. And wherever it's located, to feel it, to give it your whole attention, your unconditional acceptance, to wrap it in your love. And to understand that this resistance in the body, this slight, probably habitual clenching, is an energy that has been striving to keep you safe in some way. But it does that in a way that puts up a resistance to the present. And to feel that with compassion, that striving. And allow your awareness to come to the perineum, to feel its presence. And feel that slight clenching, that slight thickening, come into relationship with the perineum. And feel the spaciousness between them. And allow that energy to be carried by your love through that spaciousness, dropping down towards the perineum. And it gently drops, it gently slides down through the body. You'll feel it at a certain point sliding down through the realm of the pelvic bowl. And let that happen in its own way, on its own time. And welcome all the sensations that accompany that descent. And you feel it dipping lower and lower into the pelvic bowl, guided by gravity, ushered by love, finding its way to the perineum. And as it arrives there, allow it to come deeply to rest. In the same way that you might stretch out on the ground on a sunny day and come completely to rest on the earth. And from that deep place of rest, allow a gentle dilation into the world. And within that dilation, a spacious corridor begins to unfold from the perineum up through the body, up to the top of the head. And through that spacious corridor, you feel the perineum at the very center, at the very bottom of it. And for the moment, locate the center of your awareness up in the head. And allow that center to embrace the question, what really matters to me? And allow that question to live there without demanding an answer. Just feel that question and let it stir up what it stirs up. There's no necessity for an outcome. And when you feel ready, allow that question, what really matters to me, to begin to drop down through the body. And in that gentle descent, it will likely change. And again, welcome all the sensations that are elicited by that descent. Just allow them. And the question drops and you feel it descending through the body. And at a certain point, it enters the realm of the pelvic bowl and continues to drop down through that spaciousness. And in your own way, on your own time, it will approach the perineum and arrive and come to rest there. And there's no rush. Let it happen as it will. And when it happens, let it rest there, just that. Let it be, let it rest, and be patient with it. Again, it is a question that can live without needing an answer. But as it lives there, allow your awareness to spread gently into the world the way concentric ripples spread across the face of a pond. And it dilates into the world, into the present, and that question comes into relationship with all the possibilities that are out there. And without actively deciding anything, in a complete trust of what you feel, that question will come into relationship with something that will bring you fully to life. And it may be more than one thing, but to feel illuminated by that connection, to feel your life clarified and activated by that connection. And as that connection clarifies for you, whenever, however that happens, to understand that it is like a compass needle showing you the way forward. And nothing can eliminate or diminish or obscure that felt relationship, that compass needle, because it is so very deep within your being, as though you have revealed something for yourself at a soul level. Allow yourself to resonate to whatever comes up for you in that relationship, to let it show you what it will, to let it perhaps reshape you as it will. And you may feel yourself newborn into possibility by the energy of that relationship. And allow the whole of your being to come into relationship with that connection, to be permeated by its energy, so that it is felt through every cell. And your whole being is newly oriented and newly committed. And allow that connection to illuminate what it will, allow it to activate as it will. Let it carry you where it will for the moment. That brings the practice to a formal close, but I would invite you to linger. Linger, journal, reflect.